Nathan Flynn was a firefighter, Howard County Fire and Rescue, assigned to Station 10 on A shift, and was a very active professional firefighter. Nate was single when he was hired in the fire department. I was actually one of his training academy instructors. And then ultimately down the line, met his wife Celeste, who had 2 sons that became Nate's stepsons, and then they had 3 kids together. Brecken is the youngest.
As our children were very small, he took some of the time off and some of the slower work to participate in the training. Almost like a kid some days. If he knew it was a ropes day or if he knew it was a water day, he would get super excited about that. He enjoyed keeping those skills sharp. So the training part of it, he was always training and just keep working to be better at it.
His passion for training kind of set him apart. A lot of the fire service, it's all about training, so we build that muscle memory and we know how to do our jobs well. Nate took that kind of to a whole nother level.
Good morning, it's Monday, July 23rd, 2018.
Like most stories start, it was a typical summer day. It was hot out, humid.
Right now, hazy, hot, and humid. Do watch out for those storms.
We knew there were storms coming in that night. Nothing seemed any different than any other day.
Most of the showers and storms actually producing some decent lightning.
Sometime in the middle of the night, I was actually the on-call assistant chief that evening when they alerted the task force or working fire dispatch.
Howard County 911. Yes, we have a fire at our house. What's your address? 7005 Woodgate Drive. Okay, I have fire department on the way. We'll be there shortly, okay?
Local box 5-62. Paramedic 56, Paramedic Engine 101, Engine 51, Paramedic Tower 10, Battalion Chief 1, respond.
From the time I got from my bedroom to my car, which was a matter of a couple minutes in the middle of the night, I realized something doesn't sound right here, and very quickly realized we had a pretty bad situation.
Unit calling to Mayday, go ahead.
Charlie to command, priority message. We are still looking for Flynn, firefighter Flynn.
Command to firefighter Flynn. Command to firefighter Flynn.
Charlie to command with an update on the lost firefighter.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Firefighter Flynn fell through the floor. Units are inside right now, searching for him. We got firefighter Flynn. He's EMS to the Charlie side basement doors. Charlie to command. Flynn is out of the building.
Breaking news stories from overnight. The first out of Howard County, Maryland, a huge mansion. A fire triggered a massive response.
Right now, one firefighter is hurt and in the hospital. Fox 5's Melanie Olnwick is live on the scene with the very latest. But first, let's hear what the deputy chief from Howard County had to say.
Very much.
Allison and Maureen, I'll take it from you guys right now. We just found out from the assistant chief here, Daniel Merson, that one firefighter, the one who we told you about, who was injured and transported, he unfortunately has died of his injuries. 13-year veteran of the Howard County Fire Department.
They came to get me at home, obviously, to tell me that Nate had passed. Took me down to Howard General in one of the service cars, and I met a lot of these people for the first time that day. So walking into Howard General that morning, going down the hallway at the hospital, the hallway which is lined with the Howard County guys, you could just smell the smoke still on their clothes. Your heads were down. They didn't want to make eye contact with me. They obviously knew that I was coming into a very terrible moment in my life.
This is that 7-alarm house fire. It's in Howard County. You can see the crews there.
We still have a lot of wounds from that. That incident did not just impact Nate and his family. It impacted our entire department and everybody that knew Nate.
Today, we were given the report on the fire put together by the ATF.
The safety investigation looked into the death of Lieutenant Nathan Flynn.
Beginning at the fire scene on July 23, 2018, investigators from ATF Howard County, Maryland, and the Office of the State Fire Marshal worked collectively to determine the origin and cause of this fire.
Throughout the whole investigation of this incident, we've learned a lot, and we all collaborated together to make sure we did the most thorough investigation possible to find out why this happened, and we're taking that information now so we can keep it from happening to somebody else.
With support from Celeste Flynn and the Howard County Fire Department, it is our intent at ATF to share this video timeline as an educational tool for the fire service. The fire originated when a lightning-induced arcing event caused a small arc hole to form in the wall of corrugated stainless steel tubing, commonly abbreviated as CSST.
It was a unique and challenging fire that we ran. It was basically a in-between two levels. So we have the basement, we have the first floor. The fire was actually in an elevated crawl space, kind of in between both. So they knew they had fire below them. When they went to the basement, they knew they probably had fire above them, and we couldn't figure out that hidden crawl space piece.
The fire originated in a crawl space located underneath the first floor living room. The crawl space and access to the crawl space was hidden from the general view with no indication of its existence.
Firefighter Flynn advances a hose line from engine 5-1 through the open door into the first floor above the crawl space. Firefighter Flynn then falls into the burning crawl space below the living room. The elevated crawl space opening was visually obstructed, and crews cannot immediately locate the seat of the fire in the crawl space. Elevated fires often result in thick smoke on floors located above the fire and minimal smoke located in the level where the fire originated. The relatively complex fire dynamics associated with elevated fires are rarely taught to the fire service and fire investigation community.
The biggest takeaway for us is that, and we've had multiple other incidents where yes, we probably have saved lives with our knowledge of what happened at Woodscape that night, was after a thunderstorm. Until proven otherwise, we assume that there may be some kind of failure in the CSST piping system in a house. That's one of the big things that we focus on, is identifying whether we actually have a gas leak or not, because that is ultimately what led to the fire that ended up killing Nate.
ATF generated 5 conclusions or educational points resulting from the timeline video analysis, fire testing, and computer fire modeling.
Unfortunately, these incidents are still occurring weekly, especially thunderstorm season in the summer. There was one in Ohio a week or two ago.
This just into our newsroom. No one was hurt after a lightning struck a house and started a fire in Boardman.
A very similar incident, and that fire department wasn't even really aware of the corrugated stainless steel tubing issue and the potential for lightning strikes and ultimately gas leaks when it arcs. One of our goals is to make sure that we can reach out and get this across the fire service as a whole, that this can be an issue, and you need to rule it out and be cognizant of it. Maryland is the first state in the nation to ban a certain type of CSST gas line being used in structures in the nation. So we passed House Bill 1052, and that is something that we learned from the investigation resulting in Nate's death. We absolutely are committed to this, and I would say we knew early on after Nate's passing that the best way to honor and remember him was to carry on his legacy. Every year on July 23rd, which is the anniversary of Nate's passing, is when we conduct our training day. It doesn't matter what day of the week it falls on. We are committed to always doing it on July 23rd. That's the day that we honor and remember. So July 23rd this year fell on a Sunday. We know it's going to be hot out, it's the middle of summer, it's vacation season, but we still had great turnout because people are committed to participating in this activity. When people showed up, they moved with a purpose. You could tell they were there for a reason, and it wasn't just a regular in-service training day or something that they had to do. They were there because they wanted to be there, and I think it was just organic the way that happened. That wasn't planned, that was just something special.
How you doing? I'm doing good, buddy. I'm doing good.
It means everything. It means everything in a way to honor and remember Nate. It's extremely important to Celeste.
Good morning. How are you?
She's been a very active participant in all the training that we conduct. She sits on the committee where we plan the training.
How are you?
All right. Yourself?
Good. Hanging in there.
Good.
The way people always show up for us and for Nate, it's family at this point. They showed up. They were there that morning, and a lot of these guys have been there every July 23rd for us ever since. So it's more than just a saying, never forget. I mean, they live it, they believe it, and they show up for us all the time. So it's really important for us to still be here and do as much as we can to make this day possible each year. It's 5 years. This is a big year. It's been a big year for the family. This July 23rd date has always been important to the family. It will be important that we come here and share this with you each day. So proud of the work the team puts into this each year for us. We appreciate it immensely.
We're not gathering to be sad about it. We're gathering because we want to honor Nate and his passion for training. And the ultimate goal of this is how can we keep this from happening to another firefighter and their family, most importantly. And I think that's what Celeste most wants to see is she doesn't want to meet any other firefighters' widows. She wants to make sure that something like this doesn't happen to somebody else ever again. We always say never forget, and the one thing we do by making sure we have the training day every year is a way to honor and remember Nate and to never forget.
While I'm watching the guys here doing the training, it gives us a reason to feel closer to him because it's what he did every day, the things that he really enjoyed, his passion. So it kind of brings us closer to all of that.
Raise on blue.
For us, it's a day of action. It's a day of intentional, purposeful memory of Nate. It's a way to take it from being a sad day to make it very intentional and action-based. It's been a huge part of his legacy and who he was, who he will continue to be, how he'll be remembered.
Celeste is absolutely an inspiration. Nate was part of our family, but so is Celeste and her kids, and they always will be. Towards the end of the training day, Brecken, that's Nate's youngest, he idolizes his father, Nate. All of his kids do. And I think most of them aspire to be in the fire service and follow in their father's footsteps.
All right, you gotta listen to this. I gotta help them get ready, okay? You hold the fort down, all right?
What do I hold down?
Brecken was an honorary firefighter that day. As a matter of fact, he was Chief 2.
My firefighter number should be 2 because I'm the second assistant.
We let him go up to the top of the training tower, escorted of course, but he had a radio, he had all his equipment on, all his gear, and actually when we were up there he told me that he was going to move into the training academy when he became a teenager. To see Brecken up there with another firefighter was very inspirational, and knowing that it's not just about Nate, it's about his family also, and they're part of our family, and seeing Brecken up there with another firefighter, he's one of our family.
It's a moving forward for us. It's a making sure that we're doing the best thing in his name to push forward the things that he would still be doing if he were here. You can take a moment like this and you can just let it make you stop there and be sad and stay in that place. Or you can take it and find purpose in it. And we've tried to take it and find purpose.